The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM affiliates. Across Ghana's 16 regions, we are on Flow FM in Akachi. We are also on Kaliawo FM in Akachi and Gangai FM in Jirapa. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. We are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duro Plus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Dura Plus goes, water flows. This afternoon, Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee calls for identification, prosecution of military personnel involved in the March 7, 2023 Ashaman brutalities, as they also demand compensation for the victims.
I will say about over 50 again because they come on rotation. This person will beat you, another person will follow up. They stick to beat under your foot, on your buttocks, at the back, on your head.
I have details of the committee's report set to be taken by Parliament upon resumption of business on February 6. And in your election headquarters this afternoon.
In Ghana, we believe anger over living standards is giving opposition candidate John Mahama a lead in the polls. This marks a shift away from the incumbent's preferred successor, that being current Vice President Bawumia.
That's the latest prediction of electoral victory for the NDC's John Mahama in the December 7 presidential election by UK-based research and data firm Fitch Solutions. But what exactly is working against the NPP?
It appears that the economy and economic management will take center stage for voters during the election, which will inevitably give the opposition NDC an advantage because the recent economic downturn happened under NPP leadership.
We have details of that and also less than 24 hours to the NPP parliamentary primaries, and the advice to delegates is to vote for candidates who can effectively lobby for developmental projects.
Put it in your manifesto that when you come, you will never encourage, but you will rather fight Galamsey.
We have more as the party intensifies talks on unity before and after the elections to avoid dedicating time to addressing grievances after the elections.
Because we don't want to also go into our elections where after the election there will be so much cracks in the party and it will take us so many months to do reconciliation.
We have sports.
GFA's 5-member committee for new Black Stars coach sparks public outrage, prompting calls for government intervention.
And much later, 7 people in critical condition at the Mampong Government Hospital after a bus they were travelling on from Accra to Yeji was attacked by armed robbers in the Ashanti region. We'll speak to our reporter who witnessed the incident.
So they shot plenty. Can't count. It's more than 15 times. So I felt there was some kind of fluid to my realization. It was blood. We were also struggling. More than an hour, we were still in the car.
We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa, Apawu, and this is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. More reason why you ought to stay for details. Many thanks for your company this afternoon. The Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament is recommending the identification and prosecution of military personnel involved in the March 7, 2023 Ashaman Dawn raid. The soldiers invaded the Ashaman community following a brutal military invasion of parts of Ashaman on Tuesday dawn following the murder of a young soldier, Trooper Imoro Sheriff. The Parliament's committee set up by the Speaker took testimonies from the military and police top command as well as the Defence and Interior Ministers. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with more from what we are learning in this particular report. Elton, so what did the military say in their defense?
So the defense minister and the former chief of defense staff appeared before the committee. According to the committee's report, the minister stated that the operation was carried out at Tulaku and Taifa, suburbs of Ashaman, which were declared a no-go area to the high level of criminal activities that had been occurring in those areas. He said the committee was informed that once an individual, according to the minister, took on the challenge of serving as a soldier in the Ghana Armed Forces, he or she swore to the state to die protecting the people of Ghana. But in the case of Imoro, the soldier did not die in the line of duty. He noted that the deceased soldier was stabbed to death on Saturday, 4th March 2023 at 2 a.m. The minister stated that the happenings in the community for a period of about 1 month had built tension within the barracks and that pushing the soldiers to act the way they did. When the chief of defense staff took his turn, he collaborated the minister's statement and informed the committee that the operation took place after all intelligence gathering effort had been completed. The CDS admitted that there were excesses in the operation that resulted in people being brutalized.
So that's some account from the outgoing CDS. We know that the IGP also appeared before the committee. What account did he give?
So the Inspector General of Police appeared also together with the Interior Minister, and they said that they had started investigating the matter when the police, when the military asked them that they were on top of the issue, and for that reason they should allow them to do their work. And because of the intervention of the military, they had to step aside to allow the Ghana Armed Forces take over the investigation. The IGP indicated that they did not do anything beyond the fact that they had started, but because the military hierarchy told them to step aside, they did so.
Well, let's talk about the recommendations by the committee.
So, the committee report is asking the parliament to agree for the military high command to identify those individuals responsible for brutalizing the residents and then prosecute them in accordance with the dictates of the standing orders of the Ghana Armed Forces. Also, the committee abhors any form of torturing, handling of civilians by the military or security agencies for that matter. The committee called upon the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces to educate their personnel on the legal demands and consequences of such act. They are also demanding compensation for those who were brutalized during the action taken by the military. The committee again recommends that the National Security Council ensures that there is collaboration and coordination among the security agencies in the country, particularly between the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police in the execution of their functions and duties. The committee entreats the security agencies to follow their respective mandate as provided by law. And finally, it recommends that the Ghana Armed Forces work towards improving their relationship with the public to engender trust and confidence in the populace.
I was hoping to hear the quantum of compensation, but really, what's next?
For now, the expectation is that this report will be taken on the floor of Parliament, and then the consequential resolution may be passed. It's unclear how much in terms of compensation the committee is looking forward to. What they have stated in this report is that those who were brutalized, they must be found and then compensated accordingly.
We're grateful, Elton Brobe, with details of that report and recommendations by the committee, which will be laid in Parliament when they resume on February 6th. Well, let's bring in the Member of Parliament for Ashaiman, Mr. Ernest Nogbe. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So you've been hearing, I'm sure that you've seen portions of this particular report. It's recommending an identification and prosecution of individuals, also some compensation packages. I bet you are satisfied with the recommendations of the committee.
Well, thank you very much, and then good afternoon to your listeners as well. Yeah, that has been our position from day one, and as a member of the committee as well, I played a major role in bringing out the facts of the matter. And don't forget also the committee paid a visit to Ashaman, and then the residents and the victims also made their plea. So far so good. We are satisfied with the recommendations, but we are yet. The report is yet to be taken on the floor of the House. It has been late. We finished working on this report for the past 3 months, but as we speak now, it's always been in and out of the order paper and then on the business statement, but has not been taken. We are hoping and praying that by the time we get back to the House, it will be debated on the floor. So by and large, I think we are very much happy about the recommendations.
Well,
yes,
I was
the victims will have to be compensated, and those who perpetrated the heinous crime on the citizens of Ashaman, the residents of Ashaman, must also be brought to book. As the leadership of the military admitted that yes, they ordered for the swoop and they ordered for what happened at Ashaman, but just that there were excesses. It's an admission, and so therefore the people will have to be compensated.
Did the military high command state its preparedness to help identify these individuals?
Well, whether or not they are prepared to bring to the fore the identification of these individuals, I may not be able to say otherwise. But if the order is given from Parliament that these people must be identified and punished. You don't have any other option than the very people you ordered to go and perpetrate the act, you bring them to book because they admitted that they ordered them. So meaning that you have ordered some group of people.
So if they admitted that they ordered them, how come they are not being held responsible, but rather your committee is recommending an identification of these individuals? They ordered it, so they know the men, don't they?
They know the men very well. And in the statement, in the statement of the leadership, they said and they claimed there were excesses. Excesses. It means what they asked them to go and do, they have done beyond what they asked them to do. So definitely, they know the various people, the actors of the game. So definitely, they'll bring them to book.
Okay.
If the order is to bring them for punishment.
And finally, the quantum of compensation, that's not clear in the report. What are we looking at?
Yeah, the committee, the responsibility of the committee is not to state exactly what compensation should be given. But by normally how it's been done is that you form a committee, an ad hoc committee, to look into the matter very well and then bring to the fore the quantum of compensation. You know, some people had injuries, body injuries, some people psychological trauma, some lost properties, etc. Some even died during the process. So it will be based on the facts on the matter by each and every on a case by case basis. So I think an ad hoc committee may be formed. At the end, if the report is adopted by the House, ad hoc committee will be formed to look at the quantum of compensation that will be given.
We are grateful for your time. That's the Ashaman MP and also a member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, Ernest Nogbe there. In a related development, exonerated former senior police officer who was accused of attempting to destabilize the country, ACP Benjamin Agojo, says he was unfairly treated by government during and after his trial. Speaking to my colleague Raymond Nakor upfront, ACP Agojo says although he does not have any misgivings towards government, they did not treat him well in the duration of his trial, even though he always knew he was innocent.
Do you have any misgivings towards government?
Why will
the
I?
Akufo-Addo government.
Why will I? Except that for now, I'm not pleased with them the way they treated me. I don't have any misgivings about them, but I'm not happy with the way they have treated me.
Is it
They
true?
have mistreated me. They have persecuted me. And even when the court has pronounced me acquitted and discharged, the Attorney General is walking out there to say that if they had done their work very well, I would have been also in prison. It was inhumane. You were not allowed to, you didn't know the time. You had no information from outside. You could not receive visitors. If you really have to receive visitors, the visitors could be frustrated because it could take them 6 to 7 hours before they could get to you, so they would prefer going back.
Well, in another startling revelation, ACP Agojo says he went 5 days without food and survived only on water when he was detained by the National Intelligence Bureau for fear of being poisoned.
You went on hunger strike.
I never went on hunger strike.
But we're told that you were on hunger strike.
I decided not to eat at BNI for 5 days.
Oh, okay.
And that was a personal decision. And I'm not going to explain it. It was a personal decision. When I was arrested first, I decided not to eat. And when they even arrested me the second time, I decided not to eat their food. And I wouldn't explain why I didn't want to.
Why you suspected the food?
I didn't want to. I could not trust people who were fabricating
you were
stories.
fasting?
No, I was never fasting. It was a decision I took that I wasn't going to eat the BNI food because people who are able to fabricate stories and concoct stories about your involvement in something that you know you have not done, how could I trust them to eat their food? That was the principle I stood for. So I was not fasting. I was not on hunger strike. I just decided not to eat. And I was drinking water. And the water was brought by them, but I knew that water was brought in a sachet, maybe 2-3 sachets. So anybody could just pick and drink.
That's ACP retired Dr. Benjamin Agojo in that interview with my colleague Raymond Akwa on Upfront, and that's available on all our social media platforms, also on myjoyonline.com. Time for your election headquarters. An election headquarters is proudly brought to you by Petrol Soy, your cliff oil in full quantity. And this afternoon, in what could be seen as a morale booster for the opposition NDC and John Dramani Mahama, United Kingdom-based research and data firm Fitch Solution is predicting electoral victory for John Mahama in the December 7 presidential election. Fitch, in its latest publication on election and risk-related issues in Africa, says the current state of the economy will play a significant role in the choice of voters in December. In a webinar to announce the outcome of its latest research. Senior Sub-Saharan Africa country risk analyst Mike Kroniger says their finding puts the NDC's candidate ahead of Vice President Dr. Bawumia, who is also the NPP flag bearer.
As you can see, overall, we expect policy continuity to prevail in the region, with most incumbents winning and retaining their majorities. That said, however, we do forecast important changes in key markets such as South Africa and Ghana. In Ghana, likewise, we believe anger over living standards is giving opposition candidate John Mahama a lead in the polls. This marks a shift away from the incumbent's preferred successor, that being current Vice President Bawumia. So again, overall, although we do expect policy continuity to prevail, some important changes will occur, and we'll be monitoring these closely.
So what exactly are the factors working against the NPP? We can hear Mike Kroniger again.
So while the Ghanaian government has confirmed its commitment to implementing fiscal reforms in the 2024 budget, we anticipate significant public expenditure overruns ahead of the December election, particularly given that the ruling New Patriotic Party, or the NPP, trails behind in the polls. So since the start of the century, so since the year 2000, public expenditure as a share of GDP increased by an average of 3 percentage points during election years, as you can see on the left-hand side chart. And I think this really reflects the government's tendency to, for example, subsidize utilities or implement social welfare programs, really to garner public support in the run-up to general elections. So while these expected expenditure overruns will lead to a widening of the budget deficit in 2024, it will also support households financially, so driving up domestic demand that way and also supporting headline economic growth. So in terms of the other part of your question on who is most likely to win the December vote, our core view remains that the opposition National Democratic Congress, or the NDC, is best placed to secure a victory. So looking at polling data, it appears that the economy and economic management will take center stage for voters during the election, which will inevitably give the opposition NDC an advantage because the recent economic downturn happened under NPP leadership.
On security, Fitch's warning of potential instability in the sub-region due to activities of insurgents operating in Burkina Faso and Mali.
We do see security risks increasing, as I say, specifically concentrated in the Western Sahel, specifically the countries of Mali and Burkina Faso. So as a little bit of context, over the past 10 years, these Sahelian countries have become really the global flashpoint for Islamic insurgencies, and this presents clear risks for neighboring countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin.
That's Senior Sub-Saharan Africa country risk analyst for Fitch Solutions, Mike Kroniger. We'll stay a while longer in the election headquarters. And the heat is on for final campaigning ahead of the NPP's parliamentary primaries tomorrow in constituencies where the party has sitting members of parliament. Well, out of the total number of 373 aspirants who filed to contest the primaries, 29 are going unopposed. 11 have been disqualified. Well, this brings to the number total 326 parliamentary aspirants in the contest. For electorates in the Asante Achim South constituency in the Ashanti region, a candidate who would lobby more developmental projects to the area will be their choice. There's more in this report.
Incumbent Member of Parliament Kweku Asante Boateng is seeking re-election for the fourth time. In the 2020 parliamentary primary, Mr. Asante Boateng was fiercely contested by Managing Director of Ghana Post, Bice Osekofo. But Obo, as he is popularly known, lost the election by 58 votes. Bice Osekofo says the constituency needs a new face.
I make a very humble appeal to you. That has been 12 years that we have tried our sitting MP. It's about time you give another person an opportunity to also bring his prowess and his ideas to bear. I present to you myself, Bice Obo Osekofo.
Amid the intense clash emerges Eric Amofa, believed to be the dark horse in the race.
I'm the right person to lead the constituency. From the first month after Eric Amofa wins, we are going to do a unity conference in Asante Achim South. We are going to bring all the police stations at one place.
And we move to the Western region, where they don't have a good run in the 2020 election. Samuel Kojo Brace of our political desk puts the spotlight on the once good ground for the party.
The New Patriotic Party has had some fairly good results from the Western region for some time now. The party says it hopes to deepen its hold on the region ahead of the 2024 elections. In the lead up to their primaries on Saturday to elect the men and women who would help them achieve this, 4 constituencies have become the hotbeds in the region: Shama, Esikado Keten, Efia, and Kwesimintim. In the Esikado Keten constituency, the incumbent Joe Gate is not seeking re-election. Former Regional Secretary Charles Bisu is confident of winning the contest because, to him, he is the most experienced person to replace Joe Gate.
What Honorable Joe Gate has done for this constituency, if you go to Parliament, out of the 10 best constituencies in Parliament, Esikado Keten is one of them. There's no doubt about it. The experience is enormous. So that seat, the seat Esikado Keten cannot be joked with. And so we need to come and solidify the base of Esikado Keten in Parliament. And that's what I am seeking to do with the support of everyone.
Well, the General Secretary, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, says the party is intensifying unity talks in a united front so that less acrimony will be registered after the elections.
Because we don't want to also go into our elections where after the election there will be so much cracks in the party and it will take us so many months to do reconciliation. So if in the interest of having a united front, we have to defer or suspend the elections in the Kuapin South to achieve our purpose, the National Party will always support such a call. People were talking about they had this, they had that, and you invited them to the National Party. But unfortunately, they couldn't give us names.
Well, flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is reiterating the stance and urges all the parliamentary aspirants to ensure that the party comes out of the process more strengthened and united. He said there's more in a statement ahead of the big day tomorrow. My colleague Kenneth JC joins me in studio with details of that. What more should we know from this goodwill message?
Well, Emefa, Dr. Bawumia wants the party to rise above personal interests and petty differences, and also focus on the greater goal of advancing the principles and ideas of the party. He also extended his sincerest wishes to all the aspirants and urged them to be guided by the principles underpinning the party's democratic culture and the principles of freedom, fairness, and peace. He ended with the emphasis on ensuring the integrity of the party's electoral system and ensuring compliance with the decisions of the delegates of the party.
Thank you very much, Kenneth. And that's the statement from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia taking us out of the election headquarters. We know that the Kuapim South, Aguna West and Mampong constituencies will not vote tomorrow because it's been suspended. Your election headquarters is proudly made possible by Petrol Sol. Your clean fuel in full quantity. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. They also make it possible, and also by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We've been talking about Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee calling for identification, prosecution of military personnel involved in the March 7, 2023 Ashaman brutalities, as they also demand compensation for the victims. We've been going through that report set to be taken by Parliament upon resumption of business on February 6. We have sports when we return, and then 7 people in critical condition at the Mampong Government Hospital after a bus they were travelling on from Accra to Yeji was attacked by armed robbers in the Ashanti region.
So they shot plenty. Can't count. It's more than 15 times. So I felt there was some kind of fluid to my realization. It was blood. We were all still struggling. More than an hour, we were still in the car.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Go GoTV is stepping up your entertainment from the 15th of January at no extra cost to you. If you are on GoTV Value, upgrade to GoTV Plus to watch GoTV Max. Already on GoTV Plus? Upgrade to GoTV Max to enjoy GoTV Super. And if you are on GoTV Max, upgrade to GoTV Super to enjoy the best of the best on GoTV Super Plus. Don't wait. Step up your entertainment today. It's on us. GoTV. Love it. T's and C's apply.
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Intuitive navigation. Navigate through an array of revamped categories that cater to all interests. Join the conversation with our interactive comments section. Get live TV,
confidence of the football community.
radio,
They can actually borrow.
and podcast of your favorite TV and radio shows on Joy and Adom platforms. Powerful search. Find any story with ease with a simple click. Access precisely what you're looking for. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports. Mubarak.
Thank you very much, Emefa. Now, the Ghana FA's decision to set up a 5-member committee for the appointment of a new Black Stars coach has sparked public outrage, leading to louder calls for government intervention. It will be the 5th coaching change under the current administration in 5 years, a period marked by 3 group stage exits. Now, Member of Parliament for Northton, Okujeto Ablakwa, says the football structure sets up coaches to fail.
We must really make sure that the opacity is addressed so that the scarce resources we have, we can be sure exactly what we are doing with that money in sports. And that's really where we must start from, not about appointing new. Look, no matter, even if you bring coaches like Klopp of Liverpool, the Man City coach, Pep Guardiola, even if you bring all of these outstanding coaches into this system, into this structure, don't expect any magic. The young talents.
And there'll be more analysis on game plan at 1:15 p.m. Back to
We
you,
can't
Emefa.
wait for that. Now, 7 people are in critical condition at the Mampong Government Hospital after a bus they were travelling on from Accra to Yeji was attacked by armed robbers in the Ashanti region. Listen to one of the passengers who said the robbers shot about 15 times. He was shot in his arm and leg.
I heard gunshots, so the car just went off immediately. But then I just finished eating within the car, trying to take my phone to do one or two. So when I heard that, I was quite confused. So I thought maybe they were trying to let us calm down and they take whatever they were taking. To my surprise, it was continuously. I didn't know. Before I realized the bullet had got my arm, close to 10 minutes later, it got my leg again. So they shot plenty. I can't count. It's more than 15 times. When it even happened, I didn't even know there's something.
Rather sad situation there. Now, if you've been reading myjoyonline.com, you may have noticed that the United Kingdom is set to send some of Ghana's crown jewels back home 150 years after looting them from the court of the Ashanti King. The gold artifacts will be loaned to the Ashanti Kingdom following a 3-year agreement with Otumfuo Seti II. Gold pipes, sword of the Ashanti state and gold badges are among 32 items scheduled to return to Ghana. Chief negotiator of the gold artifact saga, Ivor Ajimandia, says the Ashanti Kingdom was compelled to accept the loan agreement.
They have enacted laws around these objects, and museums, national museums in particular in UK, cannot permanently return these objects, even if there is a goodwill by workers, by museum economists who feel that they should look at the laws again. As it is now, it cannot. So as it cannot, we only had to look into what was possible, and the loan agreement of possibly 6 years was what was available.
And just so you know, the government of Ghana says it will, by the end of this year, also remove visa fees for all Africans traveling to Ghana. And on that note, I bring in Max and Jackie. They have no plans of traveling out of Ghana anytime soon.
Oh, very soon.
Very soon.
Oh, no, we are not Jackpot. No.
What's trending?
No. You know, last week was Violence Friday. Today is Jack Toronto Friday. JT Friday. Okay, so former President John Mahama was in Kumasi, was speaking, and he referred to someone as Jack Toronto. And also, let's listen.
VAT law ache and so ababia VAT no yemfan to Iram Kania so yemfan to electricity so na Jack Toronto any new aketwa Jack Toronto ni new aketwa almost say wo so Kania e wo say utia VAT.
Okay, so let me just do a translation before we. Okay. So he said, we introduced VAT law a long time ago, but every government that has come never charged VAT on electricity. Today, Jack Toronto and his kid brother are saying you have to pay VAT when you use electricity. So we are asking, people are also asking, who is Jack Toronto?
Everybody is asking.
Thankfully, Jackie is Jack, right?
Yeah, I'm Jack.
So let's play. You know that blindfold game when we're young?
Yeah.
Jack, where are you?
I am here.
Also, back in SHS, you know the way they do it. JT, yo. Jack Toronto, yo.
Hey, guys. Bye-bye. Please, when you find Jack Toronto, let me know. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Ghana remains in debt distress despite ongoing restructuring program. I am Emefa Apawu, not Jack Toronto. We have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otebo up next to do.